Why is running as a leftist so difficult? The entire system and the legitimate
Will you be listening to
the legitimate entry points to participate in the system revolve around capitalism. It's the same concept that you see in manufacturing consent, where if you want to rise up the ranks of the media, for example, the media works as a institution that is supposed to normalize everything that you're experiencing under capitalism. And if the media works to defend capitalism, then those who are anti-capitalist are probably not going to rise up the ranks without letting go of their anti-capitalist points of view. Great example of this is, Van Jones, who apparently used to be a radical, or at least worked with some communists, like Maoists. Like literal Maoist third world is in San Francisco. Now he's on CNN. And you will never hear a peep about leftist values from him ever. Maoist Van Jones and I have the same exact team, full disclosure, at WME, by the way. Be on the lookout of my point of view. Well, I was never a fucking Maoist, but, be on the lookout for a POV change from your boy.
Hey man, just gotta say you've begun looking increasingly...
Yeah, Cinema too. Cinema. Kristen Cinema was like... I mean, these people are like... gutter punk, crusty anarchist, or like America KKK type leftist though. Like they were way more aggro than me. They were like cranks, I would say. And some of you are here in my audience, and some of you have crank-like points of view too. But
Hi.
Like, this is her own website. Like, this is an agitprop. Okay?
I am in SF
Kirsten
right
Cinema
now,
to the right of Mitch McConnell in new legislative rankings. You understand? This is Kristen Cinema. That's her own website promoting this. Okay? To the right of Mitch McConnell. Like, that's her own Senate campaign website straight up publishing this. Talking about like how she's to the right of fucking Mitch McConnell. Everyone. Does anyone have any links of her old days though? She was like Occupy Wall Street. Like she used to be like Can a one-time Ralph Nader supporting bomb thrower win Arizona Senate seat? Democrats hope so. Representative Kristen Cinema, the likely nominee, is trying to transform herself into a conservative Democrat by being a semi-reliable supporter of the president. She used to have like blue hair and shit too back in the day. Cinema, you don't have to do this? Oh, she's done this already. Good luck. First openly bisexual member of Congress. First member to list their religion as none. Booster personal story includes a childhood stint in an abandoned gas station, a scholarship at Brigham Young University, and time as a social worker helping refugees. She began her political career on Ralph Nader's 2000 presidential campaign as a local Green Party spokeswoman. In 2001, she ran unsuccessfully for Phoenix City Council while refusing to accept campaign contributions. That's bribery, she told the Arizona Republic. In 2002, the Republic published a letter from her bemoaning the idea of capitalism until the average American realizes that capitalism damages her livelihood while augmenting the livelihoods of the wealthy. The almighty dollar will continue to rule, she wrote. That year, the state Democratic Party called her too extreme when she ran for state legislature as an independent candidate and called for closing a local Air Force base. After she won her first election as a Democrat at the Arizona House in 2004, Cinema spent a year at the state capitol as a bomb thrower. She wrote in a 2009 political organizing book, how-to book, Unite and Conquer. In the mid-2000s, she organized marches for immigrants' rights and led the nation's first successful campaign to defeat a state constitutional amendment to ban same-sex unions. In 2001, the Phoenix New-Times, an alternative weekly, named her the best local lefty icon. But as the Democratic Party moved to the left, Cinema moved to the right. In 2001, 43% of Democrats called themselves moderates and 36% considered themselves liberal, according to the Wall Street Journal. God, 2001 was so fucking cancer for politics and for our understanding of politics. I'm just like looking at this and it's so disgusting to me. It's like, okay. A new poll in January found 51% of Democrats said they were liberals, while 36% said moderate.
It's my 3-month.
When Miss Sinema won a new congressional seat in 2012, she reinvented herself as a bipartisan deal maker. She joined the Blue Dog Coalition, became one of the most conservative Democrats in Washington. Trump lost their Phoenix-based district by 16 percentage points, but since he took office, Miss Sinema voted with him 55% of the time. 55% of the time. Check out the McSally ad on Cinema's Tutu.
I was deployed to the Middle East, led airstrikes against the...
It's so funny. God, Martha McSally is a babe. I'm sorry. God damn. Or was. But it's funny because, like, Arizona Senate seat, like, she lost. Barely. But she lost to Kyrsten Sinema. Right? And the hilarity here is, like,
Taliban, and was the first woman to fly a fighter jet in combat. I know the price of freedom. While we...
Let me ask you something. We're going to watch this ad from Martha McSally, and then I'm going to show you another ad, okay? And you tell me who's a Democrat and who's a fucking Republican.
We're in harm's way in uniform. Kyrsten Sinema was protesting us in a pink tutu and denigrating our service. The world is a dangerous place. We need strong leaders who understand the threat and respect our troops. Kyrsten Sinema fails the test. I'm Martha McSally, and I approve this message.
Felix from Chapo has talked about this before, where he's like, people don't give a shit about veterans like this. Like, they don't. This is in the eyes and minds of... So this is the Republican running against Kyrsten Sinema, who is now, like, more conservative. So you saw that ad, right? Let's take a look at this.
When
I was 12 years old.
Let's go. Let's friggin' go.
When I was 12 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I grew up. I wanted to fly fighter jets and land on aircraft carriers because that's the toughest flying you can do. When I was 13, my congressman told me I couldn't fly in combat. He said Congress thought women ought to be protected and not allowed to serve in combat.
Hasan.
I never got a letter back from my Senator Mitch McConnell. I then wrote every member of the House and Senate Armed Services Committees asking them to change the law. I said they just hadn't met me yet.
What sucks about this is, like, why is it that, like, the feminism that we manifest is through people being like, I need to go fucking bomb villages in Afghanistan? By the way, notice how the ad is literally the same. Like, this is the same ad. Same fucking fuchsia filter. Like, walking in front of walking on a jet carrier or walking in front of a fighter jet, talking about how, like, I'll bomb the fuck out of villages. You understand me? One is in Arizona, the other one's in Kentucky. So the thing that really hurts my fucking soul is that I know there's going to be more like Charlotte climbers, for example, when trans rights are fought for, okay, and they should be fought for. I know that eventually we're going to have, like, a trans Democrat, okay, that literally talks about how, like, well, I joined the military and I fucked shit up, and, you know, I'm trans, but, you know, Donald Trump tried to take it away from me, and they shouldn't, because it's disgusting that, you know, the trans military ban is disgusting, unconstitutional, ridiculous, but it sucks that the only time there's, like, progress made, even if it's, like, symbolic or if it's legitimate progress being made, it's on the virtue of, like, being able to fucking bomb kids in Middle East. That sucks. It literally sucks. And I already know that there is going to be, if the Democratic Party continues their fucking, you know, we are conservative, we are a part of the military, hoorah, fuck yeah, we are the real veterans, we are the real patriots, bitch, like, those Republicans are pussies, we'll kill more people than you, fuck you. Like, the more that they do that, you know that there's going to be, like, a trans person, like, the next 5 to 10 years which does imply progress in some way. That's like, I fought for my rights and I fucking, you know, I ended lives. That sucks.
And I knew I could do it, but most of them told me I couldn't. Then I got into the Naval Academy.
Chelsea Manning, okay, shut the fuck up. Chelsea Manning would never in a fucking million. First of all, she is a Haas buff gamer watcher, okay, in this community. She would never in a fucking, she's literally regarded as an enemy of the state. I love her for that. I mean, she is brave and a whistleblower and literally got tortured. She's a national fucking hero and would never ever in a million years do that shit. Imagine, like, no, never do that.
And wouldn't
especially because she's Haas buff. She's a gaming watcher, like literally.
You know, that's when they changed the law. I'm Amy McGrath, and I love our country. I spent 20 years as a U.S. Marine, flew 89 combat missions bombing Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. I was the first woman Marine to fly in an F-18 in combat, and I got to land on aircraft carriers. Now I'm running for Congress against Andy Barr in my home state of Kentucky. He's Mitch McConnell's hand-picked congressman who said he would vote enthusiastically to take health care away from over 250,000 Kentuckians. Mr. Barr, my mom is a polio survivor who became one of the first women to graduate from UK medical school. A lot of people told her she couldn't achieve her dreams either, but she persevered and ended up treating many of the same kind of people whose health care you and Mr. McConnell would take away. This is my new mission, to take on a Congress full of career politicians who treat the people of Kentucky like they're disposable. Some are telling me a Democrat can't win that battle in Kentucky, that we can't take back our country for my kids and yours. We'll see about that.
Yeah, it just sucks that, like, it just sucks that the only expression of feminism or, like, advocacy for women's rights in the Democratic Party revolve around the dignity of work of being able to fucking, you know, fly a fighter jet. And fighter jets are fucking cool. Like, they are. But we all know what they do. Okay? What are we doing? What are we doing? Bragging about the numbers she put up in Iraq, weird champ? Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but
been watching you stream for
I know. Look, I have a lot of active duty members in this community. I have a lot of veterans in this community. But you gotta fucking be critical of what you're doing right now, and you gotta be critical of your service. It's a really fucking hard. It's a really hard thing to admit, but like, American imperialism hurts you. It hurts the rest of the world, and there are plenty of veterans in my community that are aware of that. Those who have served, those who have been active duty, those who have gone on tour, those who've seen hella combat. And like, when you talk about the Valiants, or when you talk about your fucking KD, like, that shit sucks. It really does. Because it is another continuation of American imperialism and a justification of American imperialism from what is supposed to be the left, right? The Democratic Party. Like, we've completely let go of that mentality. We've completely just dropped. Like, there used to be a robust anti-war movement in this country. It's gone. 9/11 eradicated that. Okay, 9/11 just eradicated the anti-imperialist movement in this country. Democrats don't fucking agitate against war anymore. It's insane to me. Not only do they not agitate against war, they agitate for more war. And I've talked about this before, like the adoption of like militaristic rhetoric or militant rhetoric against like Russia and other countries. That's not supposed to be the Democrat way. It's not. You can't do that. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Democrats are supposed to say, no, what are we doing? We're not supposed to go to fucking war. Democrats are not supposed to go on Rachel Maddow and be like, it's fucking poggers when we, you know, do military activities in the region where in North Korea is, just to do a show of force. Like, that's not what Democrats are supposed to advocate for. Like, using foreign adversaries by greatly exaggerating their power to further continue our imperialist endeavors is what Republicans are supposed to do. And Democrats are supposed to go against that by pointing out the flaws in that argument. And yet we don't do that anymore. And it fucking blows my mind and it pisses me off. It's yet another instance where the Democrats have become Republicans, like very similar to Republicans.
Kirsten Sinema was protesting
Thanks for getting me
our service. The world is a dangerous...
Especially because, like, it doesn't matter. You could personally fucking execute an ISIS prisoner on camera, okay?
3 months of being a true leftist.
You can personally execute an ISIS prisoner on camera, and the Republicans are still gonna be like, "Shut up, you're a pussy. You wore a tutu." Okay, that's not how this works. Like, they already own patriotism. You do not, and you will never own patriotism. They've already redefined it. And if you're gonna try to redefine patriotism, don't redefine it on their fucking terms. Here.
Kirsten Sinema has the phony politician act down. She wants you to believe she's a moderate, but she's just a professional politician. Before Sinema went to Washington, she was a radical fringe protester. In 2002, the Arizona Democratic Party said she was, quote, too extreme. Sinema even called herself a socialist. That's right, a socialist. Radical, extreme, socialist. Don't fall for Kirsten Sinema's act. NRSC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And she's not that. Just because her name sounds like Cinema Chat. Better dead than red, brother. Exactly. Voting with Trump 50% of the time is a true sign of socialist? Yeah. Radical liberal Raphael Warnock. One of us? Yes. Chelsea said Haas buff. Run on issues, not propaganda. Who cares if someone calls themselves socialist? God, Americans are such hogs. Well, that works in America. Like, that does work in America because Democrats, like Republicans, instead of pushing back against that rhetoric, Democrats align with Republicans to shit on socialism and the left, not recognizing that will turn on them. Like, Democrats are so dumb when they also get on board with attacking the left and socialism, not recognizing, okay, attacking the left and socialism will literally turn back on them because all you're doing is legitimizing that, you know, socialism is something that's bad and the left is something that's bad.
Missed 2 weeks of streams / news
because these motherfuckers say Nancy Pelosi's a socialist, dumbass. Stop helping them. Like, stop aligning yourself with the Republicans against other Democrats and against progressives, especially when the values you espouse are literally progressive values. And in the eyes of the average American, in the eyes of the average American hog, there's no difference between your like incrementalist approach and full-blown fucking seizing the means of production. You get that, right? No matter how much you describe that, no matter how much you try to say, well, no, we're actually trying to advocate for free market solutions and, you know, tax credits and whatnot. It's like, no, dude, no, they don't care. That's socialism. It's wealth redistribution. It's socialism. So stop arguing on those terms. Stop arguing on the terms of your opposition and start saying, no, this is bullshit. They call everything socialist. Guess what? A lot of the stuff that's socialism is actually good. So shut the fuck up. The word racist lost its meaning because of the left. Republican who calls half the United States socialist. I mean, Republicans weaponize socialism. Let's say the Democrats weaponize racism, right? Racist. There is truth to both. Because ultimately, what Republicans think is socialism isn't like literally seizing the means of production. What Republicans think is socialism is socialization. Okay? Republicans think taxing people and then having the government provide certain amenities is socialism. Okay? That's not a bad thing. That's a fucking good thing. Republicans think taxation is socialism, and Democrats, I think, correctly identify harming people from marginalized backgrounds on virtues that they can't change about themselves, and being bigoted towards them as racist, okay? Or bigoted. And there is truth to that too. And while not every fucking Republican is literally a Nazi or literally a racist, a lot of them are pretty goddamn racist in ways that we would normally recognize as like, oh, well, that's, you know, that's an old head mentality. Maybe that'll go away. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's truth to that if I'm going to be a radical centrist in this way. They're ignorant. And they are pretty racist. Like, you can't be at least a little bit on board with racism if you're not gonna agitate on you know, welfare policies harming people because it gives the blacks money. Like, that's racist as fuck. If so many Americans want socialism that will win in a fair democratic election, simply it's time to try socialism if it were people wanted. Hey, Hasan, do you think YouTube is still dominated by right-wing channels, or has it lessened somewhat in recent years? I think it's like, it's lessened somewhat. It's lessened somewhat for sure because they won power. It's going to come back now. So what happens is when you have power, the opposition can set themselves up as counterculture, okay? As the valiant heroes defending against an administration that is harming them, right? And these centrists and these right-wingers had done that under Obama and grew, right? But then ultimately Trump became president and they still kept crying about the same shit. Well, okay, well, that's your guy. Your guy is the fucking president. What are you doing? This is the guy that you loved. Like, you can't do that with someone like myself because, like, Joe Biden is not my fucking president. He's not my first choice. He's not even he's not even on the list of choices, okay, that I would have ever wanted for the United States of America. But these guys literally wanted Donald Trump. So when he was president and they were still crying about like blue-haired SJWs in college campuses that are, you know, gender non-binary or whatever, and as though those were like, you know, the biggest fucking problem makers in society, as they did for like the first 2 years. You know, remember, Jordan Peterson still was able to advocate for this sort of thing. People started recognizing that, like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Our guy won, and my life still kind of sucks. How about you shut the fuck up? So now that Joe Biden is president, I think that those guys are gonna get another. They're gonna start building their movement again. They're gonna gain more foothold because they can say, you know, Joe Biden is trying to kill Republicans or something. You wanted Biden to win? No, I wanted Trump to lose. And by the way, the majority, the overwhelming majority of Biden voters were with me on that one. More so than wanting Biden to win. People that wanted Biden to win on the virtue of just Biden winning are in the minority. People that wanted Trump to lose were in the majority. 65+% of Joe Biden voters literally voted against Donald Trump, whereas more than 70% of Trump voters voted for Donald Trump. That's the big difference. Biden's at least a little bit better than Trump, right? Yes. Of course, Biden is a little bit better than Trump. Everyone is a little bit better than Trump. Like, technically, fucking Mitt Romney is a little bit better than Donald Trump. But that doesn't mean Mitt Romney's a good president. Biden wasn't the only option we had. Biden was presented as the only option we had. Like, I said this during COVID. I told you guys this during COVID, and I said it again, especially after the protest, the BLM protest started. Every Republican president in that circumstance would have been at least marginally better than Donald Trump in attacking the problem effectively. Donald Trump's administration literally thought in the most childish way, in the most childish fucking way, that they could just avoid COVID and it would go away and that we could like low-key slowly do like a herd immunity thing. Like, that was insane. No other Republican administration that has like at least a little bit of competence would do that. That doesn't mean that they would be good, but marginally, even a Republican would be better than Donald Trump in that way. Anyway, and now we 400,000 people are dead, you know? COVID is the only reason why Trump lost. Yeah, I know. I know. I've said that. That should terrify you, by the way. The inauguration should, or not the inauguration, the siege on the Capitol should upset you and terrify you, but not for the reasons why the media is telling you. Like, not for the symbolic reasons, you know, oh my God, there's a destruction of property, the halls of Congress, these are sacred institutions. Like, fuck off. I don't give a shit. It's fucking brick, and it's wood, and it's windows. Fuck that. Okay? And those sacred institutions have done so much horrible shit, legitimized so much horrible oppression on American citizens and also everywhere around the world. So fuck Congress and its symbolism. However, what should terrify you is who was doing the storming and the sieging. Those people weren't all 3%ers. There were plenty of small business tyrants that coexist around you that stormed the halls of Capitol. That's the terrifying part of it. Okay? That's the real terrifying part of it. The fact that the Republican base is finally starting to take more serious action after years and years of being agitated and being emboldened. That should be terrifying for you.